Los Angeles, June 12, 2026. SoFi Stadium is shaking. Across America, 19 million people are watching, the largest audience a United States men's national team match has ever pulled. And the striker pulling the trigger wears number 9 on his back and the stars and stripes on his chest. One goal, then another. Folarin Balogun, on his World Cup debut on home soil, has just announced himself to a nation. A 4-1 win, a host nation believing, and a new American hero made overnight. But the striker who lit up Los Angeles almost never wore these colors. Because before he was American, he was 3 things at once. The story begins on July 3, 2001, not in London, not in Nigeria, but in Brooklyn, New York. Folarin Balogun was born to Nigerian parents in a city that would later claim him as its own. He arrived in America and stayed for exactly 1 month. At 1 month old, his family packed up and crossed the Atlantic. London would be home. London would raise him. 3 countries pulled at him from the moment he could understand who he was. The United States, where he was born. England, where he was raised. Nigeria, where his blood came from. A boy who belonged everywhere and nowhere. In London, the football came early. Kickabouts on concrete. Boots scuffed before they were broken in. Goals counted out loud against older kids. And at 8 years old, Arsenal saw it. The academy at Hale End opened its doors, and Folarin Balogun walked in. He would spend the next decade trying to walk out the other side. At every youth level, he scored. U16, U18, U23. Defenders bounced off him. Goalkeepers reached and missed. Coaches whispered the same word, prodigy. The English press took notice. So did England's youth setup. Caps came at U18, U19, U21. The pathway looked paved. A professional contract followed. The badge on his chest, the Emirates lights overhead. The dream, technically, was reality. And then, two senior appearances for Arsenal. That's all he got. Because in front of him sat established internationals. Aubameyang, Lacazette. Strikers with reputations and price tags. There was no door for a young number 9, only a wall. You can be the best youth striker in the country and still be invisible in your own building. So Arsenal did what big clubs do. They sent him away. January 2022. A loan to Middlesbrough, in the English Championship. A second-tier club, a second-tier league, and a striker trying to prove he belonged anywhere at all. It didn't click. The goals didn't come the way they were supposed to. The doubts, the ones that whisper at every young player in the dark, started to whisper louder. Was he good enough? Was the academy hype real? Was he just another prodigy who was going to fade into the long, quiet list of boys who almost made it? When he came back to Arsenal that summer, he was 21 years old, and his career was a question mark. And then Arsenal made one more phone call. The destination this time was France. Stade de Reims. Ligue 1. The 2022-23 season. One more chance to find out who he really was. He scored. And he kept scoring. Against the big clubs, the small clubs, with his feet, with his head, from the spot, from open play. By the end of the season, Folarin Balogun had 21 league goals. The most of any player his age or younger in Europe's top 5 leagues. Across England, Spain, Germany, Italy, France, nobody under 22 scored more than the kid Arsenal couldn't find minutes for. Overnight, he wasn't a prodigy anymore. He was a striker. A real, proven, top 5 league striker, and suddenly, every federation in the world remembered exactly who he was. 3 flags. 1 choice. England had developed him, they'd handed him youth caps from U18 all the way to U21.
In their minds, he was already theirs. Nigeria was his bloodline, his parents' country, his name itself. And the United States was the country on his birth certificate. The country he'd left at 1 month old and barely knew. In the spring of 2023, he flew to Orlando. He met with US Soccer. He talked. He listened. And then he sat down with his family. In his own words, the decision came together with my family. It felt right, he said, to represent the country I was born in. A one-time international switch.
Filed, approved, final. Folarin Balogun was now, officially, an American. The reaction in England was loud. Some fans felt jilted. They'd raised him, they said. They'd given him the cap pathway. They'd watched him grow. But it was never their decision. It was his birthright, his family, his call. And the boy who'd belonged to 3 countries had finally chosen who he was. The summer of 2023, a career on the move again. Arsenal sold him. Not on loan this time, sold outright to AS Monaco in the south of France. Around €30 million up front. Another 10 in add-ons. Roughly $43 million total. For a kid who, 18 months earlier, couldn't get on the pitch in North London. In Monaco, the loan deal stigma was gone. He wasn't borrowed anymore. He was bought. He was the project. He was the number 9. And he became a League One regular. A starting striker in a Champions League club. The kind of player big tournaments are built around. But before the club career could climb any higher, he had a country to introduce himself to. His USMNT debut came in a CONCACAF Nations League semi-final. Against Mexico. The biggest rivalry in the region. The USA won. And in the final against Canada, he scored his first senior international goal. A new American striker, a trophy in his hands, before he'd even played 10 games. The caps came. The goals came. Around 28 appearances. Roughly 10 international goals. A genuine USMNT starter. Then came the summer of 2024. The Copa America on American soil, a dress rehearsal for the World Cup. And the United States flopped. Group stage. Out. For Balogun, for the whole squad, it was a public, painful warning. A home World Cup was coming in 2 years. And the country wasn't ready. So they got to work. 2 years of training camps, friendlies, qualifiers, hard conversations, harder mirrors. Balogun kept scoring in Monaco. Kept showing up for the national team. The boy who couldn't get a minute at Arsenal was now the focal point of a host nation's attack. And then, finally, it arrived. June 11, 2026. The 2026 FIFA World Cup kicked off on home soil, co-hosted across the United States, Canada, and Mexico. The next day, in Los Angeles, the host nation walked out for their opening match. Paraguay across the tunnel. A continent watching. A country holding its breath. And Folarin Balogun, the boy born in Brooklyn, raised in London, Nigerian by blood, scored. And then he scored again. 2 goals on his World Cup debut. The stadium losing itself. 4-1. A statement opener. A nation off and running. And those 19 million Americans watching at home? The highest-rated US men's national team broadcast of all time. Overnight, a household name. Overnight, the face of a tournament. Overnight, the answer to a question America didn't even know it had been asking. Think about the journey for a moment. 2 senior games at Arsenal. A struggling loan at Middlesbrough. A wilderness summer in his own head. 21 goals in France that nobody saw coming. $43 million to Monaco. A flight to Orlando, a conversation with his family, a federation switch that divided 2 countries. And finally, on home soil,
on the biggest stage the sport offers. The payoff. Folarin Balogun didn't reject England. He didn't choose Nigeria. He chose the country he was born in, the country he barely knew, and he made it his. The striker England let slip. The son Nigeria couldn't claim. The American who came home the long way around. A boy who once belonged to 3 countries. And finally, beautifully, belongs to one. If this story moved you, subscribe to Beyond the Boots for more journeys like Folarin's. The boots tell the story, we just follow the footsteps.